What is up, everybody, and welcome to a joint podcast here. I'm Trevor.
I'm Michael.
This is Alex.
And this is Jordan.
This is the Real Friends Podcast.
We are going to be talking about the brand new movie, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It was a fun movie, to say the least. We actually got to meet up with you guys at the Regal to see it, which was so exciting. It's great meeting up with people talking about movies that we love. And you guys are awesome, so thank you for driving down.
Yeah, we had a
But
great time. I appreciate that. We've been looking for some, fellow Central PA movie lovers. So, we couldn't miss that opportunity. And what a heck of a movie for our first one together.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a blast, in my opinion. Let's talk a little bit about just what the movie's about here. Alex, do you want to take it away there?
Yeah, sure. So, this is what I told you guys at the theater. This is the sequel to 28 Years Later. Came out exactly 28 weeks after the first one. So, pretty exciting in that regard. And, we kind of talked about it's almost like a standalone story. That also includes some characters from the first one. So, Spike's back, Dr. Kelson's back, Samson, the, Alpha is back, right? But then we meet a lot of new characters too. So Jack O'Connell comes in as they were at the end of the first movie. We really get to dive into them deeper and kind of see how they are. Last night I actually revisited the Kubrick's Clockwork Orange because I was getting
Mm.
massive Clockwork Orange vibes with like Alex and his fingers with these guys. Boy, it was sometimes it was tough to watch, and not because it was bad, but there were some very gruesome scenes in this. But yeah, had a great time with it.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up because on the way home, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, this is a Clockwork Orange almost, and a zombie movie had a baby, which
Yep.
was it's great. Um, and that those like that parallel between Clockwork Orange, 28 years later, just it kind of works in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Michael, tell me your
Yes.
initial thoughts about this
Ooh.
film. Oh,
Yeah.
also, are we
Yeah.
doing spoilers?
Ooh.
Yeah, we're
I feel
gonna.
like
Okay,
we have.
Yeah,
I feel like
awesome.
we have
Okay,
to at least.
okay.
yeah,
Have we
yeah,
given any spoilers away yet? I guess we can go initial thoughts, spoiler free, but we have to
yeah.
talk
Like
about.
maybe one thing you guys do that I like is you guys talk about kind of your expectations going into it, and
Yeah,
then just kind of your general thoughts. So we could probably do that.
yeah. Michael,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really know what expectations I had coming into it. I know a lot of people didn't like how the last movie ended. I was kind of excited for it, and these Jimmies did not disappoint. I mean, like you said, the parallels to Clockwork Orange, I didn't really think about that, but that is like that's literally the type of feeling I got from when I watched Clockwork Orange. That was gruesome. I don't know. Jack O'Connell, I thought all the Jimmies were pretty good. I want to get into spoilers so bad though. So much happened towards the end, but I thought it was fun. Like it was kind of funny, but it was disgusting. I don't know. It was all over the place.
Sure.
and for me, going into 28 years later, I was very excited. I love the original too. Then I saw how amazing 28 years later was. The ending made me want so much to love this movie. Um, and it kind of scared me originally with it being a January release. We all know how January releases have been in the past. Recently, they've been getting a little bit better, which is something I like. But this movie was different than what I thought it was going to be, but
Mhm.
I ended up loving it.
How about you, Jordan?
Well, the big thing was I had seen 28 years later, enjoyed it as I think we all were kind of in a group thought of it. It was a good movie for what it was. It beat the heck out 28 weeks later, but to me didn't really top 28 days later personally. Uh, all that being said, though, I went into this with complete brain fog of 28 years later, basically, besides, the ending scene and whatnot. And I will say that, like Michael was saying, just the opening, and I'm going to avoid the spoilers for initial thoughts here, but the opening set the stage for the type of characters that we were going to be following for the majority of the movie here. And I think it set the tone very well for who the Jimmies were. And, they're just a bunch of nutcases that are, living life at this point. They're a little brainwashed, they're a little out there, but it's the apocalypse basically. It's the type of characters that you're going to see that stereotypical, oh, here's the crazies, oh, here's the people that are still itching for cure, oh, here's just the wasteland survivors type deal. And I think it set the stage pretty good for that set of people that we were going to be following.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree entirely. I kind of gave my thoughts on it already, but the ending of 28 years later, like a lot of people did not like that. And we talked about it a little bit after the movie, like, maybe Nia DaCosta directed that final scene and that's why it felt so different. But it felt much more fun, right? Like it felt like, I mean, the Jimmies just pop in and go full Power Rangers and start tearing up the zombies. And I was like, dude, I could watch 3 hours of this. And the trailer, I typically try to avoid trailers because I don't want things to be spoiled for me. I really appreciated this trailer though because it showcased a lot at the beginning of the movie and then it showcased a scene that I thought was completely different than what actually happened in the movie. And I'm very excited to talk about those spoilers because I think it's going to be hard to top that scene. To me, that scene is Irish Jig from Sinners level awesome. So I'm pretty pumped up to talk about it.
And it might be even a little bit better, in my opinion.
Hey, it might be. And it's very well timed for something that's happening this summer around the country. So I'll talk about that when we
Ooh,
get to it.
absolutely. Okay. So, first off, I just want to say Jack O'Connell. O'Connell.
Yeah, Jack O'Connell.
O'Connell.
Yep.
Jack O'Connell. Yeah. What a run this guy's been on.
Dude.
Like, you had 28 years later, Sinners, this. Dude's making money. Dude is working his tail off. Just impressed. So impressed. And I guess like we can jump into a little bit of spoilers here. Talk a little bit about the movie. So I thought this movie was going to be all about Spike
Hmm.
based off how the movie ended. This was really not, I mean, he was a focus, but he was kind of third, in my opinion. So you have, Jimmy, the main Jimmy. You have Ralph Fiennes' character, and then him. And then even I feel like Samson was even a little bit more than Spike,
Yeah.
which I never expected the main alpha to be a huge character. Um, Speaking of the alpha, just real sidebar, it was kind of funny hearing him speak for the first time. I thought he was just gonna be talking like Drax, just say, or like Groot, like I'm Groot, I am Groot,
Yeah.
just with Moon. But that was crazy character development just from that movie or first movie to this movie. And I'm excited to see him if and hopefully we get the sequel or the third movie in this trilogy. But
I'm hoping it kind of scares me that a lot of the advertising they're doing right now is witness the epic conclusion, like the final
mm,
chapter. So I'm worried they're not going to make another one, but you have to, right? Like we'll get there, but you have to not just end it now.
mm-mm. And
Wait, are
especially
they not planning on making a third one? Is it not like
I think
confirmed?
it's up in the air. Like
mhm.
they haven't announced a date for it or anything like that. But I would expect, I haven't looked into it because it is still the same weekend it came out. I would expect it's making money. I mean, our theater was pretty full.
Yeah. And it's the anticipation for the next one just based on how this one ended. Obviously, Aaron Taylor Johnson wasn't in this one, setting up just like bringing everyone together to a crazy, I don't know, zombie battle scene. Then you have Samson who just like I'm confused. Does he still have all the strength of um of an infected, but like he's just himself, or is he that strong of a dude?
It seemed like it, like that was my second favorite scene in the movie when he's going ham on those zombies, like
Yeah.
after he's been, cured, right, of his
Mhm.
of the anger. Like it would seem he still has the strength. I mean, he's massive, right? So he's
Yeah.
got to be able to put something down.
So the big thing with the 28 series here that I've picked up on is the overall arching plot of what is the rage virus. And I think since we're in the spoiler territory, the things that Doc came up with there, the rage virus itself is in their body. That is there. That is the truth at that point. That's what they've established. Samson had no problem taking out those infected as a result of it, even getting bit a few times. So, they look at him as a normal person based on that opening scene of what we're seeing Samson and presumably the other infected are seeing. So I'm going to say that virus is basically like he's on the gas. It gave him a buff. He's strong as all can be, and he's got all these abilities of like rapid cell regrowth and things like that the doctor was talking about. So I'm willing to bet that just clearing the rage and as the doctor is putting it, the psychosis with the medication, there's a very good chance that the infected are just going to be like superhuman kind of. I wouldn't expect them to go in that direction of, oh, here's the infected Avengers, but it is what it is. They're establishing what they want the lore to be, and it's very cut and dry that, oh, there is a cure, but it's not necessarily a cure. It's just giving somebody antipsychotics.
And I'm interested because I wonder how much Samson actually knows of what he was given, because he was high on, I believe, morphine.
Yeah,
He
For
said,
the
almost
whole
the whole
movie, he's a
movie.
morphine
Yeah.
addict. Yeah.
Which is crazy. I never thought I'd see a morphine addict alpha zombie with just running around naked a whole movie. But hey, I enjoyed every second of it. But
yeah.
it was just, I don't know. I hope that he's self-aware enough to be like, oh, this is how we can help people. But also at the same time, like, how many antipsychotic drugs does the doctor have down there? How is he gonna basically be like that main guy to try to get all the other infected better? And
I'm not going to say that they should go in that direction. I was pretty, when we were talking at the Regal there, I thought it would be cool if they wanted to put a ribbon on this, you figure out how to get those medications out in the airwaves, even somehow.
Oh,
And what I'm thinking is Samson was picking up what Dr. Kelson was putting down the entire time there, because he came right back after the fog cleared for him and thanked the doctor at the end there.
mm-hmm.
And with that being said, Doc passed away right in his arms end, basically. And like I said, that trap door to his little bunker is right there. Samson's gonna be nosy. I mean,
Yeah.
there's coverage and everything else. It's not like he was covering it in foliage. Yeah,
Right.
I have a feeling that that can be the next step that they take for the film, just by, oh, this is what the doctor was doing. He ran power somehow for that record player.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of stuff to have Samson just discover, like, here's the basement. This is what we got to do.
Yeah, it's the narrative like storytelling in this to me, like I didn't like the movie, but the way I didn't like the movie I'm about to talk about. I love 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. But so last year we had Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Rebirth, right? And in that movie it followed very different two storylines that eventually at the end met up together. It's important that we kind of talk about this movie that way too, right? We had the Jimmies, they were their own storyline. We had Dr. Kelson and Samson on their buddy adventure, right? Their buddy
Yeah.
drug trip, basically. And it all came to a head at the end. And I could have watched, we talked about this, I could have watched 5 hours of just Kelson and Samson hanging out. I thought that was so interesting. And I wasn't, like you talked about with your impressions, I wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, Samson almost killed him at the end of the first movie. Like, I thought he was going to kill him at the end. And then turns out, like, we're going to follow this dude through the whole movie. And he's great. The actor, I can't remember his name, but he's a UFC fighter that is also a stunt double. So he's been doing stunts in a lot of movies, and I think he was in Running Man last year as well. Um, Dude's a badass, and I saw an interview today that him and Ray Fiennes are now actually friends. He's like, the chemistry on screen was real because we hang out, and I can't imagine this, old Ray Fiennes, this little dude who does insane things, hanging out with this dude that's 6'9". Like it's like me and my best friend. I'm 5'8", he's 6'7". It's like the same
Wow.
dynamic.
And it was such an interesting dynamic between those two. Like I never thought I would see that, but it's funny that you brought up Jurassic World because I really did not like that movie with those two storylines, and
Same.
this works so well.
Hmm.
I guess it is really, I guess, shows how different writing has to be for it to work and for it not to work.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great parallel. And if you liked Jurassic World, I don't know what's wrong with you first off, but you'll love this movie way, way more.
Man, if we could get Alex Garland to write a Jurassic Park, I think I would lose my mind.
And because Alex Garland wrote Civil War, right?
I think
Okay,
he directed it
directed
also.
it.
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
and that movie was I love that movie too. But
Yeah. And he had
he
a
got
hand
the
in Warfare also.
oh okay. So
Yeah.
Alex Garland has the sauce.
Yeah. He's doing I believe he's in charge of the Elden Ring movie.
Hmm.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that goes. Jordan and I have talked about it a couple times. It could be very, very good and it could be very, very trash.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be a streaming uh episodic feature, quite honestly. There's a lot in a Souls game that they have entire Wikipedia pages about, let alone the Elden Ring wiki of what all this means. If they really wanted to make their money, they should just go episodic, in my opinion.
No, speaking of episodic streaming stuff, do you see that if there's any way that the 28 years later could branch off into doing something like that based off the villages and the people who were surrounding them, and then putting that into the end of the kind of trilogy? Like, would that be something that you'd even want to watch?
Not really, because it, with how the movie left off, I don't really want to watch something that's just spin-offs of Survivors. And I could be fooled. You could do it well. I completely could see how they could do it well. But if they wanted to do it, set it up that none of these characters are going to survive. Make us get attached to them. And then just through pure stupidity or something, it's the apocalypse. It's the story of how they die. Do
Mhm.
something like that for just if you want to make a series out of this that could tie into these little winks and nods to the movies that have come up to this point. But I don't need more characters that I should care about to come up into what could potentially be a ribboned up movie for the end of this series. That's my opinion on it.
sure. I think that's a good one for you, Michael, because you kind of talked about that at the theater.
About kind of where they go
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah.
I don't I agree with Jordan. I don't think I mean I think as long as they conclude this well, I don't think it needs to keep going. Maybe something with Samson
Hmm.
and going from there, but I don't know. I think the interest that I think the Jimmies were really cool in this. Um, I just think it's depending on the characters and kind of the world they build out with it. But I don't know. They're not going to go anywhere with this. Come
Do,
on.
Yeah.
do we need continuous background information for each Jimmy on how they ended up to the opening of this movie?
They all get
Like,
their own Marvel TV show. Like
Right,
that's
right.
that's
yeah.
that's that's kind of my concern with this, right? Like if we go down that route, we're going into the Walking Dead territory
That's
where
what I'm
it's like
saying.
they just completely make a new show. Like here's Daryl Dixon, here's Carol and whoever. Like, what and we've kind of already been getting episodic stuff with the 28 days
Yeah.
like series, like 28 weeks really had nothing to do with anything.
Mhm.
28 years later could be a standalone movie. This one finally we had tie-in to 28 days later. um Keep that. Hollywood is selling nostalgia, and I've talked about this a couple times on our show. 28 days later is kind of hard to watch because it was so independent. It was filmed through like a piece of foil. Like if you're gonna have me go back and watch that to see things, keep it going on this trajectory and make it interesting. Like I'm praying they do the third one, and I really think they have to.
Mhm.
And if Nia DaCosta wants to keep doing it, dude, do it. Like there were some scenes she had in this that were just mind blowing. I mean,
Yes.
we said we are gonna get to it. We've been jumping around. We might as well talk about it. The scene where Dr. Kelson is pretending to be the devil
Wow.
is just one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And what I was talking about with this summer, so he's playing an Iron Maiden song, right? It's Iron Maiden
Hmm.
karaoke. Iron Maiden's touring again this summer. They're coming to Hershey. If this isn't a perfect advertisement for that tour, I don't know what is, you know?
That is actually interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think Hershey might be the first stop on the tour. I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Maybe I need to get some general admission tickets for that.
Hey, we'll stand in the back, drink some surf sides, and watch it,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely.
To timestamp this, folks, when you're watching this 2 weeks in the future, this is the 18th of January, so get your tickets now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That scene. So you're saying that's the scene you think is comparable with the Irish Jig in
Yeah.
Sinners?
Yes. Like Trevor said, it might even be a little bit better.
And both of them contain the same actor, Jack O'Connell.
Yeah, which
Um,
when I watched 28 Years Later, I did not realize it was the same dude. Like until I saw the
really?
billing that was Jack O'Connell, I had no idea. I was like, "Oh my God,
Mhm,
that's the vampire." Like that's the dude from
mhm.
Sinners.
Yeah, had you seen like I maybe I don't watch a lot of movies. I have not seen Jack O'Connell in like really anything that I've watched. I remember I watched that movie Unbroken he was in like when I was like a teenager, like 10 years ago, but I haven't seen him in a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. When I saw him in Sinners, I equated him to like the vampire from the first Blade. I was like, "Oh, he's kind of giving me those vibes, you know?"
Mm,
And I thought it might have been the same actor, but no, yeah, I didn't know Jack O'Connell much, but like Trevor said, he's on a tear now, man. Like, don't stop.
mm-mm. And I am kind of upset that his character ended the way that it did in this film
Yeah.
with him. I mean, it wrapped it up perfectly. His arc of him who, just upside down there. I'm really interested to see who is going to be the big bad in the third
Hmm.
because Samson has, he's aware of what's going on. He's no longer the giant alpha that's going to rip your head off just because you're human. You have Jimmy no longer leading the group of Jimmies. I guess it's just going to be a bunch of infected trying to attack everyone. And I don't know how you don't get a third film with Cillian Murphy. Spoiler alert, at the end of the film there. I
Yeah.
mean,
He
that,
was in the billing. It's fine.
yeah.
Well, but they advertised when 28 Years was coming back, they're like Cillian Murphy is going to make an appearance,
Mhm.
right? And he didn't in the first movie. And then I'm watching this, and I was like, where is he? When is he going to come? And it was basically a post-credit scene just at the end of this movie showing him, which is a great tease, right? Um, but I do want to touch on what you're saying about the big bad in the next one because I've been thinking about this a lot. And we don't know. So there's a theory I've always heard about movies that if you don't see someone die on screen, they're not dead.
Mm,
So I'm not saying he's not infected. He probably is, but I don't know
mhm.
that he's dead. So he may be an infected in the next one, which I don't know if I want to see that, right? Because that feels a little Avatar to me that they just keep bringing back the first big bad in different forms. But like, if he could get infected and find Dr. Kelson's lab and heal himself or something, and like he's the next big bad, like it's Jack O'Connell. I'm not going to say no, you know?
Right.
My fear with that then is it's going to be Samson and Jimmy just duking it out for a big end scene. Then
What's wrong with that?
you
That
saw
sounds
how
awesome.
you saw how easily Samson just departed all of the infected on that bus. Like I don't think Jimmy's going to stand a chance, and it's just
No,
it.
but Jimmy with an army of Jimmy infecteds, dude, versus
Okay,
Samson?
I
I
could
don't
dig
know.
that. I could dig that.
I don't know. I think they'll create some new storyline and I don't know. I don't see it just being them two. That's a good point though about if you don't see him die on screen. I didn't think about that when I saw it. So I think he might appear, but I don't know. I don't want him to be like the main guy. He was really good as the villain
Yeah,
in this.
sure.
I kind of want more of him, honestly, but
Really?
yeah,
Maybe if
I
they bring him out in like the third act or something. I don't know.
What if
That
it's a
was kind of my
reformed
thought
Jimmy?
process. Yeah.
Like, what if it's a reformed Jimmy? Like he was his whole thing was he was a Satanist. He was very much the devil, yeah,
uh-huh.
old Nick and stuff like that. what if him being spoilers crucified at the end of the movie, they just run with that and oh my God, he rose 3 days later, and they just go out like
Mm,
completely left field there and just
Yeah.
it's reformed Jimmy. He's still
And
a dick, but
he was crucified upside down. So what if it turns out he's actually the son of Satan, man?
yeah,
Like,
I could see that, like, I could see it going crazy in the third film, like full Satan, like he's back from the dead. I don't know if I would like it or if it would make sense in that world, but
sure.
I, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is like, what the heck?
That's not the direction they made this movie way too like funny and just like
Uh-huh.
just showing at the end he's just a psycho. I mean, did he even like kill anyone or do anything that any of the other Jimmys? We never really saw what he's able to do.
No,
Like
he
he,
just commanded them around. I don't know that
Mm.
yeah,
we
they were
ever
just
saw him do
showing,
anything.
yeah, he's just a mentally ill guy and
he's the
no,
son of
he got
old
caught.
Nick. He's got the power.
Now, I do have a question about the Saint Nick. So is this Saint Nick like Satan or is it like Santa?
No, so when he was talking to Dr. Kelson there, and initially, obviously Dr. Kelson said that he's an atheist talking to a
Mhm.
Satanist, and then there was a specific line where he said, "Old Nick, you're talking about Satan." Yeah, who else? So
Okay.
he is absolutely talking about
Okay.
Satan in this.
Because I was like, man, this guy's messed up if he thinks that ill of Santa. You
Yeah.
know? I'm like, he
Well,
was only 8. Like, I get the whole Teletubby thing, but man, Santa, he's a pretty cool guy.
and I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it for like the 10th time now, but maybe his dad's name was Nick. And the only reason I think that is because he talks about in this one how his father was leading the charge of the
Mhm.
zombies. And when you go back and watch 28 years later, when his dad gets infected, he is the one marching them out of the church to their next thing. So I don't know if he just thought the devil then possessed his dad. I don't know.
Mhm.
But it's interesting to me that he was the very first scene in 28 years later, and then this kind of ends his. So I think the only reason I keep bringing up ideas of bringing him back is just because I liked him so much.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to bring him back, right? I'm sure Killian Murphy has some kind of alpha or something he has to deal with that he's going to need help now. I'm just interested to see where it takes off because we talked about this at the theater. Like 28 days later showed us how they got the virus. 28 weeks later it went back to, the day the virus took over and like all those people got infected. 28 years later, I think kind of did that, but this one did not. This one played a sound of what happened on the day of infection, and then it immediately went to this one. So I'm interested to see if we get any kind of jump back in the next one because, with a lot of big trilogies, that's what we do. You look at Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, it jump back to the last one. Return of the King, it jumps way back to when Gollum found the ring. Like, I would kind of like a little jump back again. Like, I don't want it to feel like these three movies are one movie. I'd like it to feel like its own distinct thing that continues a story also.
Yeah, you end up getting a Halloween trilogy if you end up doing it like that for how
Right.
the newest of their little trilogy that they did there ended. They had a plan at the beginning. I liked it. Second movie, third movie, they really dropped the ball because they were just pushing out the cash cow at that point.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. Oh my gosh. But I would love to see like the way that Cillian Murphy got to where he's at, how he had the daughter, what he's been doing for the past 28 years, you know?
Yep.
And I'm just really interested to see if Aaron Taylor Johnson comes back. Because, I mean, Spike is going to be like, yo, where's my dad? So those two storylines, those two huge actors, if
If they
they're going to
make a
fight,
third one, if they
eh,
make a third one,
where
I
I'm
mean, is
putting all
it?
my marbles in it.
I think the box office is going to do pretty well. I mean, our theater was pretty packed. It was opening night, but
And there's
or the second
nothing
night.
else. There's nothing else out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that Chris Pratt movie comes out next week. Like the week after that, there's some big ones,
Mhm.
especially for horror fans, like Send Help, Return to Silent Hill, Iron Lung, stuff like that. This has to dominate the beginning of the year box office, and I think it will.
Yeah, opening. So I'm just on IMDb right here, or IMDb. I always mess it up. Gross worldwide for opening weekend is 31 million.
That's pretty good for a horror movie,
Yeah.
especially in January. That's pretty good.
So, and I'm like this is gonna get, people here. Also, like the UK, it's
Yeah.
gonna be huge there.
They're UK movies,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nowhere close, but like last year, I don't know if you guys saw The Ballad of Wallace Island, but like that was a UK movie, dude. That's in my top 10 for the year. It was
Really?
phenomenal. Yeah, movies do well in the UK, especially when it's mostly British actors. 28 Days Later was a British movie. 28 Weeks Later, very American movie with Jeremy Renner, and now
Mhm.
it's like dipping its toes in both. So.
Yeah. I just added that to my list of things I need to watch. So thank you for
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's streaming. I adored it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But
Amazon Prime. There we go. Prime Video. Thank you for that.
yeah, man, check it out.
Something that I wanted to touch base with was what did you guys think of the overall practical effects that actually showed up? Like, I was very surprised whenever I saw practical effects versus the obvious CGI effects there. Um, Honestly, I was looking into it. I do believe that they actually had a guy light himself on fire
Hmm.
for that certain scene. Like practical effects, just I'm so happy to see them in movies. And continuing with that barn, we'll call it the skin suits. Those were all done practically as well, which is really cool to see. Not the imagery, but the idea that wow, they actually went. They didn't just CG all of that. They went to the extent to make all of that by hand.
Yeah, yeah. If our listeners get grossed out by body horror, the barn scene is tough to watch. Very tough to watch.
Pretty much as soon as the masks go on, if you're don't like body horror, you might want to just leave for 20 minutes and come on back.
Don't leave. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can handle screams but not body horror, just close your eyes. It'll be fine.
See, I'm crazy, and I didn't think it was that like I don't know what's wrong with me, but like I could watch it and be okay.
I,
It,
I
it's
Uh,
it's crazy to think about just getting skinned.
well,
Like
they
it's
didn't show it as
it's
much as I
wild.
thought they would.
see
They didn't.
that
Yeah.
exactly, Michael.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. Like they cut away the camera at the right time as soon as like the blade was pulled out in that initial poor sucker.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then you just hear this, you see the aftermath, but thankfully they don't just the entire thing.
Well, and the movie knew people were going to be uncomfortable with that because they tried to make it a little funny. Because when they cut away and it's outside,
Yeah.
and it's Jimmy and Jimmy talking, like Jimmy and Spike, and they're like, "Huh, that's different screaming than we're used to, isn't it?"
Yep.
Like,
the movie was very funny.
yeah,
It's like very dry, dark humor,
Hmm.
but it's such a great foil to the horrific things that we see, like that skinning
Yeah.
barn. You know, the
It was
it's
funny,
so
but
brilliant.
it's unsettling. Like, I don't know, it's unsettling. Just like in Clockwork Orange, like they're all laugh. I mean, this one was definitely different. Like I definitely was laughing a little bit, but it's just unsettling. They can do those gruesome acts and
Mhm.
uh yeah, that was rough. And then the hook, when you saw the hook that the girl was about to use, I was wondering what they were gonna do, and that was hard to watch too.
yeah.
The practical effects were fantastic.
Hmm.
I mean,
Even
seeing
even the initial with Samson, you could see where the CGI was, but
Mhm.
you know darn well they made up that model then when he was feeding. Like that was
Oh yeah.
it was gross, but it was that's nice to see that there's some practicality still there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and you can tell in a movie for the most part when there's CG and when there's practical, and it just
Hmm.
adds that extra sense of like wow factor. Like especially like if you watch like any 90s action movie, a lot of the times there's always some stupid explosion, and
Yep.
it's actually an explosion. You're just like, wow, man, like that's cool. And
Yeah.
seeing it in a film like this, where it is a little bit more unsettling, and especially like you can tell whenever somebody's actually lit on fire. It's
Yeah.
always cool to see that. So props to them for that.
Yeah. And, I like the idea that time is a circle, right? Because we had practical effects, then almost everything was CGI. And now we're going back to that. And I'm sure there's a couple reasons for it. I feel like a big reason is a lot of movies are coming out with $300 million budgets. and making like 20 million at the box office. So they're realizing that, hey, if you're not a Marvel movie or you're not a huge IP, you're not going to make that kind of money. So if we want to keep these theaters going and things like that, you've got to lower production cost. And it's helped because I feel like we get bigger name actors. Like, would you think Ray Fiennes would have done something like this 10 years ago? Like, I don't think so, like, but he was the best part of this movie by far.
Absolutely was. And I was saying to all of you after we were having our little post movie discussion, I would have loved the entire movie just to be Samson and Doc talking. Like, just I was very encapsulated by like them trying to establish some for lore, like this virus could be maintained, like this could be done. Like he's bonding with an alpha infected, and that was just really freaking cool in my eyes for what the movie was trying to do there. Like it was a contrast to slow pace to build it up to the Jimmies, and then you're back to the slow pace. You're seeing the bonding, and you're seeing some actual character development instead of wow, these guys are just freaking nuts.
Yeah, I got like Dr. Frankenstein and his monster kind of
Yeah,
vibes from that, which was pretty cool.
Did we
yeah.
know that was coming? I didn't watch, honestly, I didn't watch the trailer. Like, did we know that was kind of going to be explored based on the trailer?
So kind of. They definitely hinted at it in the first one. So I do want to ask you guys a question here in a second about 28 years later, the part of the movie that bothered me, the first one.
Hmm.
But we hinted at that, like he was talking about different things, but there is a line in at least one of the trailers that he says, I believe this infection can be cured, which I don't think he said in this movie. I believe they recorded that just for the trailer.
Hmm.
But he definitely did that. But my question about the first movie is the character of the mom kind of bothered me, her storyline, because I was convinced that she was slowly getting the rage virus. I thought the cancer and stuff because we have the scene where Spike falls asleep and there's that zombie crawling up to get him and she just beats its head in, right?
Mhm.
And she kind of raged out and I was like, is she slowly getting the rage virus? And then we get to the end, and it's no, it was cancer the whole time. Like that, I don't know, that kind of bugged me because feeding off this movie, then, if she was getting the rage virus, why wouldn't he try to cure her instead of just killing her? Like,
Ooh.
I don't know. It was confusing to me. It was the reason that movie wasn't a 10. Like the first time I watched it, I hated 28 years later. I thought it was terrible. And I think was telling you guys that. And then I rewatched and I was like, no, this is actually really good. I thought this one blew it out of the water. I really did.
Mhm. And that is interesting to think, like, what if she did have the rage virus? Because, I mean, I wasn't expecting her to go crazy on an infected.
Right.
And then with him being a doctor, you would expect like, oh, let's try to cure her. But she went out in crazy way. I mean, it was just pretty quick. I didn't see that coming whatsoever with just
Hmm.
her being burned and
Do you think, Alex, that was just like a something they missed out on that they should have, like it just, you wish that's how they wrote it?
I
That it would have
do.
been that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have that trouble a lot of times when I watch movies because I want to judge a movie based on what it is, not what it could have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes it's tough, because I think that was an idea they really could have explored. Because to me, then it doesn't really make sense why he killed her. Because my thought would be then, okay, he killed her to get her out of the equation, and now Spike is going to be like his Igor to his Dr.
Mhm.
Frankenstein. Spike's going to be with him, and he just let Spike leave. So it didn't really make sense to me for any reason other than to introduce Dr. Kelson to the movie.
I can see that
I
absolutely.
think the direction they took it in with Samson then was done well
Yeah,
in this one.
agreed.
And I'm just glad that they didn't let him just kill him right away. He let him do some research and we had a cool friendship. Great needle drops with their getting high scenes, I guess.
I do want a Dazed and Confused with those two. Like, I
Yeah.
just
Oh
want to
my
watch them
gosh.
drive around and get high.
Is there anything we haven't hit on for
I
this
mean,
movie?
I do want to just touch upon the needle drops
Yeah.
and
Mm,
the beautiful shots in this film. I mean, it was shot beautifully. Those scenes looking into space with
Mhm.
the moon, with the last scene with the circle, and he's bleeding out, and you just pan up and you see the circle with the bones just stunning. And there, visually, this is one of my favorite films I've seen in quite some time. And like we were talking in the theater with the needle drops of Nia DaCosta, just mind blowing, honestly.
A big
Yeah.
thing that you said there, just the cinematography in general. I mean, you could tell a lot of that ended up being CG, but when they actually got up close there for like the bone temple itself, that was a really rad looking place there. And I understood why he did. I mean, explain why he did it too, but like respecting the dead as a result there and just, making a mass grave for all the individuals he's come across up that point. That whole area it was chilling, but it was done tastefully that, oh, he's trying to keep his sanity by respecting the dead instead of just dwelling that death is an inevitability here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought the needle drops were great. It's up there with the top movies from last year with needle drops, right? Already. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, heck of an advertisement for Apple because now they're going to start streaming the F1 races. So,
Yeah, so we talked about how much we love the movie, but we never gave scores. So let's go down the line. I'll say my scores last, but let's say Michael, why don't you give your final thoughts, your star ranking, if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, no, this one wasn't too hard to rate. I was definitely between a couple of different ratings here. I mean, I think this movie is definitely levels above the first one. I really like the first one though, but uh, just the way they brought it together, I thought the writing was a little bit better. It was unsettling. I love that. I gave this movie a 4.5 out of 5, or nine out of 10. I only have Letterboxd, so 4.5 out of 5. This, I think, it's hard to say now. There's some good movies coming out this year, but I think this could be a top 5 movie this year. I can't wait to watch this in December. But I think this is, yeah, one of the best movies this year. This came out in 2025. This would have been a top 5 movie, I think, for me. How about
wow.
you guys?
We had a lot of good in 2025.
There
So
was a lot of good. I think
that's
Bone Temple was, or 28 Years Later, I think was maybe number 10 for me last year. But yeah, this one was good.
Yeah, yeah, I can go next. I mean, I'm right there with you, right? Like I had it at a 9 out of 10. The first time I watched it was a 6 out of 10, and it's slowly grown into an 8. But
Mm.
this is the most solid 9 you could have. There were definitely some things they could have done a little better. I wish we had gotten a little Aaron Taylor Johnson, just not completely retconning him out of the movie. But I was entertained the entire time. I was laughing. I was very happy when the people in front of us got up and left because they weren't having a good time.
I
So,
agree with that.
yeah, I liked it a lot. It was very good. I can't see it getting out of my top 10 this year, but we've got a ton of good ones coming down the line, so we'll see.
All right, I'm torn a bit here because I know I've seen better infection-based movies for what it is, but I'm gonna throw it a 7.5 in theaters. I respected the movie for what it was doing. It didn't really play on to the overall, like the infected being much of an issue anymore. You had Sam Smith being, you had one scene where a guy's mistake led him to basically end his story there. He died. But they did give you a light nod. Hey, remember, blood can cause you to get the rage virus just as easy as anything else. Okay, cool. You had some cheap jump scares and whatnot. But I would say I'm torn between a 7.5 and an 8 in theaters. I think I'll meet it in the middle. I'll give it an 8 in theaters for as much as I enjoyed it because it did, the music number at the end, the needle drops that we
Oh,
had in the movie. It was great, very great to have a good sound system for that. If you're watching it at home when it comes to streaming, I think it's going to detract from it a bit. And I think that's going to lead it closer to that 7.5, maybe a 7 in grand scheme of things. But for me not seeing an infection movie in quite a few years, well, besides 28 years later, the initial one there, I wasn't too upset by it. It was good.
Now, Trevor, before you go, I want to ask because he
yeah.
just talked about the blood thing, and I feel like that's an important because it took me out of the movie a couple times how brutally the Jimmies killed infected. Because I was like, you're ripping heads off. You're telling me you didn't get blood in your mouth or in your face? Like,
Mhm.
what's going on there, man? But like other
Mhm.
people, like it's like, oh, close your eyes, like let me wipe the blood away, you know? So maybe they're covered in iodine and we didn't know. I don't know.
I could see that being a little plot hole of just killing somebody to kill somebody.
When Kelly did the role there, though, when she was walking away from camp to do some exploring there, I mean, she did tuck and roll as she did the slice. So I feel like
Yeah,
the
that's
Jimmies
fair.
are a little more trained than what we might be giving them credit for when it comes to dealing with the infected.
That's true.
The zombie slaying Power Rangers.
Exactly.
Infected slaying Power Rangers, I should say.
Do you want to see their Megazord?
Yes.
I kind of do.
Yes.
Just saying Power Rangers. I want to see their Megazord, what it would be.
That's how we get Jack O'Connell back in the next one. He's got a Megazord.
Oh God.
Crossover of 2027. Let's do it. I'm going to give this film on par with, actually, I'd say a little bit better than 28 years later. 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5. Um, it's kind of funny because like usually Michael and I kind of are different on scores, and so I'm happy about this. I'll take it. But just what a fun movie. I just wish we got a little bit more of their Samson and the Doctor. I wish I would have seen maybe one or two more zombies, but other than that, it's a great contained story that gives, breathing room for things to come, hopefully. Please make some more movies of this. But just a fun overall movie. I am very excited to watch this at home and to see if it is still holds up at home given the sound of the film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important because the whole reason we did this, right, is you guys are trying to bring back the idea of seeing things in theaters with your friends, right? And so there were a couple times during the movie I bumped you and I was like, "Oh my God." So is it going to be as fun when you don't have someone sitting there doing that? I don't know. We'll
Mhm.
see, but the fact that typically the first time I watch a movie I'm pretty hard on it, right? And then the more I watch it, like I typically for a review try to watch a movie twice to give it its, due diligence, but I don't know, man. I feel like this one can only get better. So,
Mhm.
I thought the same thing about the Halloween reboot. First thing I said was like, "Oh, this was pretty good," and then I watched it again. I'm like, I hate this movie.
well,
I-
the best Halloween movie. I'm sure all three of you do. That's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Oh, yes.
yeah, it had nothing to do with Michael. It's great, and I don't get me wrong. I love the first two movies. Carpenter did a great job, but
Mhm.
not having Michael and just its own thing, that would have been a fantastic movie without the name itself.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Michael, have you seen Halloween 3, Season of the Witch?
No, I haven't. I thought you were honestly just saying favorite or the best Halloween movie, like the Halloween season.
That would have to be Halloween Town, of course,
Yeah.
the
I thought you were gonna
directed
say like
Disney video
I
movie.
thought you were gonna say Terrifier too or
Oh,
something. Oh my God.
Awesome.
Alex,
Well,
did this beat Army of the Dead for you?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just
I love my boy Batista, but yeah, yes, it did.
well, guys, thank you for A, meeting up with us and B, doing a review. I'm excited to meet up with you guys again because I feel like we got something cool going on here.
I agree. Yeah.
There's some good movies coming out this year too.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about what we want the next one to be. I mean, we should, if we can find four tickets together, see the Odyssey in 4DX. I think
Ooh.
that would be mind-boggling. But we did talk about Supergirl, so
Mhm. Yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff we can go see. Yeah, Supergirl. Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, guys, viewers out there who are watching, go see movies with your friends. It is such a fun experience. Even if you see it by yourself, just get a group of people, make it a big event. It's just something, there's something special about it, in my opinion, at least. So, thank you guys for reviewing this with us. Thank you, viewers. Make sure you follow both of us on social media. I'm going to be linking it in the description below. And we're all going to be signing off here, unless we have any extra thoughts.
Go see this movie. And like you guys said in our short, bring your kids.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm Trevor.
Michael?
Alex,
Yep, Jordan, I screwed it up. Let's
there you
go.
go. Wow. Well done. Well done.
And thank you all for watching the pod. We'll see you guys soon, okay?
Peace.